So today we will study on production part approval process PPAP. So what is PPAP? PPAP is a process approach to approved production part. Production part, what is production part? Production part are those types of part which have a particular part number has been given by the customer and which can be produced or manufactured at production organization site or production site by using production tooling, production gauging, production fixture, processes, operations, environment and operator. So it's a process approach to be used to approve production part. Then what we will learn in this session? First is what is the purpose of PPAP, applicability of the PPAP, when we have to submit PPAP, what are the process requirements of the PPAP, what are the different levels of PPAP submission and level wise PPAP document submission / retention. So first is purpose. What is the purpose of the PPAP? So the purpose is to determine that all customer engineering design records or specific requirements are completely understood by the organization. Here in customer engineering design records means customer engineering drawing. All types of drawing requirements or customer specific requirements are properly understood by the organization. Second one is we have to determine that the manufacturing ability of the supplier or organization to produce product consistently meeting the requirement of the customer. Third one is actual production run at quoted production rate. So where is the applicability of the PPAP? Where the PPAP is applicable? So internal and external organization sites. Internal and external organization sites supplying production part, production material, services parts or bulk material. So for production part, PPAP is mandatory. Production part we have already discussed. Production part are those types of part which is to be manufactured at production site, at supplier end or any other end, organization end, while using production tooling, production fixture, processes, operator and environment. For bulk material, PPAP is not mandatory unless specified by the customer. So bulk material are those types of material which don't have any dimensional specification, but it is in the form of solid, liquid or gas like as adhesives, sealants, top coats, lubricants, etc. For production material, PPAP is required, but it can be waived by the customer. So production material, what are production material? Production material are those types of material which is a production part number has been issued to it by the customer and directly supplying to the customer. So production material are those types of material like as raw material. So raw material is used to produce a production part. So production material are those types of material which is to be used to produce a production part. For services part, PPAP is required unless or waived by the customer. Services part are those types of part which can be used either from 12 months or more or like a bolt and warranty parts, etc. When we have to submit the PPAP, if there is a new part of product, then we have to submit the PPAP. New part like as initial part at the time of development or maybe a old part but with a new part number. Second one is when there is a correction of discrepancy in the part which are supplied previously, like as there is an interim approval we have given by the customer to the part, or there is an capability related issues in the part or any other issues related in the part which we have to take, which we have to take some corrective action and improve by problem solving efforts. Third one is when there is an engineering change in design records, drawing, specifications or material of the product / part numbers. Fourth one is when there is a new technology has been used by the organization which they did not use previously, so then the supplier or an organization will submit the PPAP. Customer notification, when the customer notification or PPAP submission is required. First one is when there is a production from the tooling or equipment transferred to the new production site, new plant site from previous one, old one. Second, production from new or modified tools, dies, molds, pattern. Production from new or modified tools. Third one is change of supplier. When there is a change of supplier from which we are taking services like as heat treatment, plating, etc. When there is a new source of raw material, like as previously we are taking raw material from this supplier, particular supplier, now we are changing the source of raw material, then we have to notify to the customer and then submit the PPAP. Fifth one is when there is a change in the raw material, construction material which are not used previously, that is means of the material. Here is that in drawing there are two types of material are given. Either we have to take like as an example SS441 or SS409 has been given, but we are using SS441 material but currently now we have to use SS409 material. Then we have to notify this to the customer and then submit the PPAP. Sixth one is when there is a change in testing or inspection method. When we are upgrading the inspection, testing facilities or inspection method, then we have to notify this to the customer and then submit the PPAP. Seventh one is when there is a change upgradation of the production or rearrangement of the existing tooling or equipment. Here upgradation means we are upgrading our production facility to improve capacity, performance of the process. Or rearrangement, here rearrangement means when we are using step by step process to make a part, but we are either we are changing the processes or by removing one process from the process flow diagram, then we have to notify the customer and then submit the PPAP. When the part production tooling has been inactive from last 12 months or more, then we have to notify it to the customer and then submit the PPAP. PPAP process requirement. What are the process requirement of the PPAP during we are doing PPAPs? First one is significant production run. There should be a significant production run should be there in initial part or at the time of development of the part. Then we have to then we do PPAPs. For production product for PPAP shall be taken from a significant production run. Significant production run shall be in a time form like as from 1 hour to 8 hours, or it can be in a particular limited quantity of 300 numbers or specified by the authorized customer representative. For bulk material, no specific number of part is required like as production material. In bulk material we cannot take a particular number of parts or a specific number of part. It can be taken as a samples in such a manner that it can represent steady state operation of the process. Like for bulk material we can take production history of the current part or current product as an reference for new product. Then PPAP requirements. There are 18 documents there is 18 documents in the PPAP. First one is design record. Design records are like as in the form of hard or soft. Hard means drawings, customer drawing, and the soft there is a CAD CAM data or IGS data. Second, authorized engineering change document. Authorized engineering change documents are those types of documents or engineering changes related to the production process tooling which are not mentioned in the drawing. Third one is customer engineering approval. Customer engineering approval is when there is a complete final part, and the final part has to be submitted to the customer, and the trial of that final part has been done at customer end, and then the report of that, on the basis of that final part or the function, the customer has given us the engineering approval, either it is in the form of deviation or complete acceptance. Fourth one is design failure mode and effect analysis. Basically, design failure mode and effect analysis are applicable or those types of supplier which are design responsible, which are proprietary products or which are design responsible. Those supplier has to do design failure mode and effect analysis. Fifth one is process flow diagram. Process flow diagram are those types of process document which are used to show the step by step process of the manufacturing process of the part to produce final part. Sixth one is process failure mode and effect analysis. Process failure mode and effect analysis are basically taken at supplier end. Every supplier who are producing the part, while in that documents the supplier has to identify the failure modes and then the effects of that failure modes on the customer on in subsequent operation, and an analysis has to be done on that effects and failure modes, and analysis in the form of occurrence or detection has to be taken. Seventh is control plan. Control plan related to the control of process / product characteristics, to the step by step control of the product or process characteristics in the in complete manufacturing of the part, from starting incoming raw material to final dispatch. Step by step we have to take mention that process, and on that process we have to how we have to control that process parameters, product parameters. Then control method has to be shown, has to be inbuilt in that format. Eighth, manufacturing system analysis study measurement system analysis study. Measurement system analysis are those types of study we have to take on the instrument which are using to inspect or that part at different locations, different processes, like as it is in variable form or attribute form. So in that document we have to identify the capability of the measuring instrument, appraiser or part variation. Then we have to check the gauge R&R value. According to it, we can identify the capability of the instrument / gauge. Ninth is dimensional result. Dimensional result is basically we have to say that it's a layout inspection report, complete layout inspection report based on drawing / design records. All dimensional specification, parameter, functional requirement, raw material and weight, all types of specifications which are mentioned in the drawing has to be covered in dimensional report. And the dimensional result / layout inspection report has to be made after finalization of the part sample part. 10th, record of material / performance test result. Record of material / performance. Record of material means we have to test chemical, metallurgical, physical properties of the part / raw material. Then in performance test result we have to check the performance of the part according to the design records. 11th, initial process study. In initial process study we have to identify the process capability of the process capability index, performance index during the process, and we have to identify the statistical control of the process to produce a quality product. 12th, quality laboratory document. Quality laboratory documents are those types of documents which we have to manage for inspection or testing equipments, like as inspection, like as we are using checking aids, instruments, measuring instruments. Then we have to calibrate that measuring instrument to the third party or internal or external quality laboratory. Either it's to be approved by the customer or it can be approved by the accredited laboratory, like as NABL. So in quality laboratory documents, those types of documents are coming like related to the calibration of the inspection instruments or testing instruments. Then third one is appearance approval report. Appearance approval report are those types of reports which are to be used to test the appearance of the part, either in the form of grain, color or surface treatment like at plating. 14, sample production part. When we have to produce the sample part initially, then the final parts of the sample parts we have to submit to the customer, either specified by the customer or the requirement or request by the customer. 15th is the master sample. Master sample are those types of samples which we procure at our end after production, after approval of the production part approval PPAP, or during the PPAP submission or during the PPAP audit. It is approved by the customer, which has a defined approval date, and it is to be used as a reference of control plan, design records, etc. 16 is checking aid. Checking aids are those types of instrument we are using to check the processes or part parameters during the manufacturing of the product. In checking aid, we have to mention the inspection instrument, testing equipment. First is like as vernier, micrometer, rough surface roughness tester, radius gauge, and on that basis of that instrument we have to mention the calibration date and calibration due date, make of that part instrument in these documents. 17, customer specific requirement. In customer specific requirement, a separate document has to be made which has to be shown the specific requirements of the customer, either it is related to the heat treatment, surface treatment, raw material, etc. It is shown in the drawing also or in separate customer supplier quality manual. 18, part submission warrant. In part submission warrant, it is approved by the authorized customer representative, and on which level we have to submit the PPAP, either level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, it is the initial submission or tool related submission. All submission related factors are shown in the PPAP part submission warrant, and the production run or production rate are also showing in the part submission warrant, and the manufacturing process which we are using to produce that part also shown in the PSW document. So it's a very important document. It's also showing the part weight also. We will study in separate 18 documents in further video. So PPAP submission layer, there are levels. There are 5 levels of PPAP submission. Level 1, warranty only, in which we have to submit only warrant or some appearance approval report to the customer. Level 2, warrant with product sample and limited supporting documents of the PPAP to the customer. Level 3, warrant with product samples and complete supporting data submitted to the customer. Level 4, warrant and other requirements are defined by the customer. Level 5, warrant with product samples and complete supporting data reviewed at manufacturing location, organization's manufacturing locations. So here we are showing the retention or submission requirements of these 18 PPAP documents. First one is level 1. So in level 1 only we have to submit the part submission warrant and appearance approval report, and all other documents we have to retain at particular location and organization site, and which has to be available at customer on customer request. Level 2, in level 2 we have to submit design records, engineering change documents, dimensional results, material / performance test results, quality laboratory documents, appearance approval reports, sample products, part submission warrant, bulk material checklist. Level 3, in level 3 accept proprietary documents, proprietary component details, master samples and checking aids. All documents we have to submit to the customer. In level 4, only part submission warrant or bulk material checklist we have to submit, and all other documents we have to retain at appropriate location at organization in organizations, and has to submit whenever there is a request from the customer. In level 5, all 18 documents we have to retain at our location, but we have to show whenever there is a request from the customer. So in level 5, all 18 documents and manufacturing process has to be visually analyzed or review at organization or production site, and all other documents has to be shown at the time of audit. So in notes S, R, star, these three identification symbols are used. S for submission of documents required and retain a copy at appropriate location. R for shall retain at appropriate location and make available to the customer when there is a request. Star, shall retain at appropriate location and submit to the customer when there is a request.